a wonderful full room of people. How beautiful that you've all come out on a Saturday afternoon in Melbourne. And to you people online, thank you so much for zooming in to join us. We wish you were here. It's absolutely wonderful to see so many people here to kick off the season of education and training. The agenda is up there, and lovely Marlene's keeping an eye by pressing a button if it ever goes off. You've also got a couple of agendas sprinkled around, and what we may not yet have done, but I'll help Elise in a minute when I'm finished talking, and that's to send an agenda out to the people who are online too. It's a really simple agenda. We've divided this time in two. We're going to have a 10-minute break in the middle. And that is when there's some lovely paraphernalia and trinkets and goodies that these guys have brought back in that back corner. So in the 10-minute break, go and have a look there. They may be saying more about that, I'm not sure. And at the end of the event too, there might be some little thing for everybody, mightn't there? Even if it is a pen or I'm not quite sure what it would be, some little goodies. My name, for those of you who don't know me, is Anne Martin, and I'm the Chair of Education and Training. And I do want to acknowledge that it is an amazing group of people that just made today happen. This woman in particular, Janine Wan, so much behind the scenes work. Elise Lonsdale, official, big clap for Elise Lonsdale. She's got an official title, and that's Techie Guru. That's going to stick, okay? Elaine Doyle, who's got brilliant, where's her name? Yeah, she's just absolutely wonderful. She's been responsible for some great artwork and promotion for education and training too, so she's an absolute gem and keeps me on track. And Graham Dunlop, who is out in online land. Graham, you are a legend, and you know it. Right, I'm moving on really quickly. Why we're here? Because we know there's an international convention every year, but we're not quite sure what goes on there. So we want the trio, and then we want the person who has represented us on the World Semi-Final stage, and we want them to be interviewed. The idea was that these guys didn't have to prepare anything, and it's informal chat where we can bring out the gems of wisdom from all of them, and that's the role that Judy is going to take. You'll see on your agenda up there that there was another company as well who attended all about Anaheim. Who attended Anaheim, at the wonderful Marriott Hotel, and that was Christine Dimitri and Vicky Travers, and also Melvin, who's here too, an honorary Toastmaster for the day. Final thing from me, why have I chosen Judy Murphy to be the interviewer? Okay. Couple of quick things in case you didn't know them about Judy. Been a Toastmaster for 31 years. She has an official title too, and it's Judy Murphy, DTM, 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 DTM. Plus various titles, including the last one of being Toastmaster of the Year again for the district. But did you know also she has been to 17 international conventions. I bet you that's more than anybody else here. But she finally recalls her first one that she went to with Marlene, and they went to Reno, Nevada. And that should be the subject of a whole lot of training. I don't know what happened there. She loves the convention, and she loves the connections that happen there. She loves being in the room where the World Semi-Finals and Grand Finals happen. And she says it's just like our District 73 conference, but it's on steroids. Woohoo. Or she says she loves hanging out with the trio. So no better person than to kickstart this by interviewing our wonderful trio than Judy Murphy.
It's lovely to be here and lovely to have been in Anaheim with this group of wonderful people. We'll introduce them to you. On my right, we have David Martin, who's no relation to Annie Martin. They play on that as I played on David Murphy being my son. There you go. And David is your district director for 24-25, recently elected in May, but since then he's been working incredibly hard for you. And then to David's left, we have Janine Wan, as Annie has introduced Janine as being involved in the education. So Janine's role is Program Quality Director 24-25, and equally hardworking as well. And to the far left, we have Vijay Sha. Welcome. And Vijay is your Club Growth Director. And these guys, now you would think, and the reason I love this idea of sharing all about Anaheim with people is a lot of people say, oh, gee, these guys, they just go on a junket to these conventions. Now, I want to dispel some of those myths because they work extremely hard, not only before they go, but while they are there as well. They're doing all of that for Toastmasters and for you. And today I hope we find out in more detail some of the activities that they get up to while they're at the International Convention. So for David attended last year in the Bahamas, so this was his second convention. Vijay and Janine, they were virgins. For the first time.
I'm sure.
Now, sorry, I'll just ask the question about the video. Did they get it working?
I did.
Okay, so Vijay wanted to play the video first.
Yes, should we do it?
If we can.
Yeah, the video is to give names of what happened over there. So from there you can ask questions, what went on over there. I pretty much summarized everything that happened over there in 2 minutes. There's a story behind every photo. You can stop on any photo, ask what happened over there, and then the story behind it. Right?
All right, so should we be very afraid?
Well done.
Thank you very much for that, Vijay. Great memories there, and no doubt that might spark some questions if we have time to switch to the audience later on. But first of all, I'm going to start with David, and my first question for you is, can you give us a brief overview of the trio training?
Okay, trio training. Nobody told me about this when I signed up. There is so much work to get done with that, and it makes, for me, one of the highlights for the week. And it's an opportunity for trios from all the districts of all the regions, and there are 14 regions around the world, to get together in groups and also break down into our peer groups. Through the year, the peer groups meet bi-monthly. So I meet with all the other district directors in the region, Janine with the PQDs and Vijay with the club growth. So when we come to the convention, we already know each other sort of, but it's all about getting to know them better, and then with training delivered by the region advisors, whole different story, and it's hard work. And as an example, here's one I prepared earlier. We get a whole stack of pre-work to do, and it's not what's your favourite colour. It's quite thorough training. We do it individually, in a group when we get there, and then in breakout rooms. 2 days at the end of it, I had so many ideas, so much enthusiasm. Janine and Vijay were the same. It's hard to describe how valuable it is.
So about how much time did it take you to do all that free work?
I personally spent less time than Janine, but possibly because she works right to the bottom of the square. But what do you think, 20, 30 hours?
No, 10 to 20 years.
10 to 20, there you go.
Yeah.
Janine 20, me 10.
There's a lot of work, and then while you're in there, you're also doing more learning again. So
Including, I should point out, there was a team exercise called roadblock, is it?
Something like that.
Something like that. And initially I thought it was the most pointless, wasted exercise. To me, it sounded like one of these home merchandising parties, but it seemed pointless right to the end of it. And then I realised it was all about identifying traits in Toastmaster clubs that do and don't work. And I'm happy to say it wasn't only my team that couldn't do it, but every single team in the world couldn't do it. But gee, we got some insights into leadership dynamics.
well, that's amazing that nobody got it. That's incredible. And Janine, what kind of topics did you cover during the training?
That one was really interesting. It was a bit like a psychology experiment where people don't know what they're actually being measured on. So we had a task to do, and they were watching to see our leadership styles and how well we worked in these newly formed teams that had never worked together before. So the experiential learning aspect of it was something I really enjoyed, and it's something I want to introduce into our training as well. So every session was really well structured. They were 2-hour blocks with 2 region advisors, and one person would take the first hour, one the second hour, and there was an activity for each one, possibly a workbook to do, but you saw on Vijay's slideshow that there were lots of charts being created on butcher's paper on the wall. So lots of contributions from the group. And I found the PQD sessions really valuable. So we talked about the things really specific to that role, like how to run a really good conference or ideas to bring into preparing club officer training. So that was really valuable, and I also really enjoyed the region breakout sessions too, and made those really great connections which will see us through the year.
Yeah, that's what you like to hear, that you've had specific training for your role. It's disappointing if you go away and you haven't had that, so that's great to hear. And Vijay, which session did you enjoy the most?
Obviously the roadblock test, because roadblock test we actually broke our head to find out how to solve the problem. Very frustrated. But if you're asking me which one you enjoy, before the session we haven't given it the pre-work. I thought, okay, I can do the pre-work at least like 10 days before going to the convention, because when I downloaded it's 2 PDF documents, 35 page and 60 page. I'm quite speed reader, so I thought I can just quickly read all this. But when I started 10 days before going to the convention. Each page has a link. Oh, to complete this exercise, click this link. And then when you click the link, it opens another big document. And the next page, to complete this exercise, you need to click this link and it should open a big spreadsheet with calculations. I don't know how you spend 20 hours. I spent, I don't know, maybe around 1 week breaking my head how to complete those documents, read all those documents. But I really enjoyed that process of, it's a very sharp learning curve for me because I truly never signed up for that. When I signed up for Club Growth Director.
Yeah, that's right.
I really enjoyed that learning process.
Well, it was important also that you went over a couple of days early to try and get over the jet lag, because imagine being in the training and falling asleep doesn't be any good.
No, I did that anyway.
I know. Now, I did hear you had some problems with jet lag, did you, Dave?
I did, and I'm happy to say I'm now over it, only recently.
You didn't wake up in the middle of the night,
I may have.
get dressed totally.
3 o'clock in the morning, I was bored. Why not? Get up, have a shower, get dressed, go downstairs almost and work out and wonder why nobody else is around. What's going on? So I didn't get that far, but I did get showered, get dressed, open the curtains, and instead of the sun coming in the window, it was dark.
The traps of travelling
The traps.
for 17-hour time difference. Yeah, that's right. Now, Vijay, we know you love networking. How important was that for you? And who was the most interesting person you met?
McKinsey was the most interesting person because when I entered in Marriott Hotel, I'm the newbie. Like first time I'm traveling, I didn't know what to expect and everything. And this guy, past international president. In the door, when I entering, Vijay, how are you? I was like, what? What the hell? Who is this guy? First time to US, I don't know anyone. How come this guy? And he said, how are you? How is your club growth director road going? And everything was amazing. See, he really impressed me well. Then I spent, during one of the day, I caught up with him separately. I asked him, like, how are you doing this? We went into the topic of Dale Carnegie principles. Genuinely interested in the people that you are meeting. So what they are doing, what their name and everything. I really learned a lot from him. Very inspiring person.
Everybody who meets McKinsey says the same thing. They're always impressed how he knows everybody's name. He never forgets anybody.
He remembers everyone's name. With the pronunciation, there's people from different countries, different culture. He pronounces their name. My full name, I don't know, it's a challenge for you.
And us.
My full name. That guy was saying my name correctly. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing. Thank you. And Janine, can you tell everybody about your accountability partner?
Well, this was an activity we did in our role breakout sessions. And David gave me some good advice. He said, make sure you find an accountability partner who's in your same time zone, because they can make it easier. And I had a special reason for making a connection with my accountability partner. So I'm buddied up with Sharon, the PQD from District 80, and she's in Singapore. Now, we are going to be working closely together, not just related to keeping each other on track with what we said we'd do, but we have a shared interest in a keynote speaker. So we're very excited with our plans for the district conference in May next year. And Sharon and I are working together because we have the same keynote speaker coming out, and she's going to be wonderful. You will love her. So I'm going to have Zoom sessions with Sharon, and I've already had one, and I'll be having another one shortly.
So you'll be keeping each other on track.
Yes.
Yeah, good. One of the other important events at the International Convention is the election of the international directors. Half of the regions, everybody serves for a 2-year period, and every 12 months, half of them change. So part of that is getting to know these candidates and voting for them. So David, how did you educate yourself on who to vote for?
The candidates are very, very enthusiastic, very informed, and they reach out to each trio to be interviewed. So we as a trio interviewed a great number of them. And you start to form impressions on whether they align with your district's needs, the way that we think, the way that we represent our members. And we start to make a shortlist. And then when you get to Anaheim, you get an opportunity to speak to them informally and formally in a candidate showcase where everybody piles into the auditorium and each candidate gets asked quite searching, difficult questions for you to reformulate your or confirm your opinion about each candidate. I'm happy to say out of the 10 elections, only 2 deserve to be changed from what I have already determined. So I ended up with only 95 votes representing our district as against a potential 200 if all the clubs had sent proxies. Long story about that, but 95 is still a very sizable block. And happily, the list that we had developed, our preferred candidate in each of the 10 elections were successful. So we were good at picking winners, and I'm certain the international directors this year will be fabulous, including the incoming Region 12 director, international director, Monique Toller.
Yeah. So hopefully next year, when Janine goes as district director, she will have the full 200 votes if everybody proxies them to. In fact, Region 12, which is the region we belong to, had, I think, the highest percentage of club votes at those elections, which is wonderful to hear.
Including us.
Now, Vijay, can you tell us how you felt at the end of all that district leader training, and did you learn enough to carry you through?
Before we going into the training, we had a catch up before the previous day. We set up some goals. What's our goal for our district this year? So we noted down some number. That was pathetic. Don't ask me. Okay. But after the training, I don't know. We all 3 got motivated. Our goal and perspective, what we can do, that got changed. We got inspired by meeting all other people with the training and information. What is possible? And one of the goals, a long-term, we have goals for this year, and also we have a long-term goal for bringing every club to chocolate strength. That might not be possible within this term, but that's something, a big vision we can have. So that expanded our thinking, what is possible. Yes, that's one learning we got from the training.
Oh, that's fantastic. You can't come away from there not being inspired with all of those thousands of Toastmasters. Yeah,
and there's a lot of support available. We chose mentors and accountability buddies for everyone. Yeah.
That's great. And David, can you tell everybody about the opening ceremony, the flag ceremony?
Well, if you saw the opening video, there was a chap there who was carrying the flag of Ukraine who looked a lot like me. And the reason is, not every country in the Toastmasters worldwide community has a representative that they can send. A great number actually don't. So Toastmasters approach district directors and ask them, would you be prepared to carry the flag of another country? And I was quite seriously very honoured to be given the flag of Ukraine. And it got a big cheer.
Yeah, to get a big cheer. And what is also wonderful at the convention at the opening ceremony is that, there's the flag of Israel, Palestine, all these countries that are at war, and there's just big cheers for all of them. There's no boos, nothing like that. You're a Toastmaster, you all have the same goal. Yeah, it was great.
And also, the rehearsal, which is about 2 hours long. Longer than I expected. They did say wear comfortable shoes. I do recommend that you wear comfortable shoes. You get a chance to become very friendly with the flag carriers either side. And the flag carrier in front of me was from another district, very similar to ours, with the same sort of problems. And boy, did we get a chance to compare notes.
So briefly, what was your favourite part of the convention, David?
It's hard to pick winners, but I think Jody was a big.
Yes, that was great. And Janine?
My favourite part of the convention?
Yes.
I had a lot of favourites. I had highlights every day, but I think contests were my favourite. So I ended up going to 2 semi-finals and the final. And I thought the winner was wonderful and she touched my heart. So I very much enjoyed that and the interview with her afterwards. But there were 2 speakers I really loved as well. One was a past international president called Pat Johnson, who spoke about leadership. And the other was the Golden Gavel award winner of this convention. So she gave what was like a keynote speech and it was brilliant. She had me entranced from start to finish, and I've already bought her book and read it.
That was Lisa Sun.
Yes, that was Lisa Sun. The book is called Gravitas.
Gravitas, yeah, that's right. And Vijay, what was your favourite part?
For me, networking with the people, it went to a bit of a unexpected extreme. We have an app for the convention called Eventry app. So I was giving, you might have seen the koalas. There's a story behind the koala. So I was gifting the koalas to everyone who I meet, so they can pin it on here. Check. It was fun. It's really fun. And I was taking photo. And after the from third day onwards, I started getting messages in the app. I came to know you are giving koalas, Australian koalas for everyone. Can I meet you? Can I meet you? There's a lot of messages. I can buy a coffee for you.
Yeah.
That was a fun part. So I gave 65 koalas for 65 people, and then I had Australian kangaroo pins. There was around 24 pins. I load some koalas from Janine. I met with Janine. Can you give me some koalas? Because I get a lot of messages.
They had a lot more people to meet.
And a lot of free coffees as well.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Actually, can I just briefly jump in? One of the highlights was the Hall of Fame, and I might get a chance to talk about that later.
Yes, all right. One of the other events that they have is the board briefing, and that starts before the convention proper, but everybody goes. So David, you're going to get
Janine's going to answer that because I was like coming back from the flag rehearsal.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, okay.
I got in just at the start of the Pathways briefing. Janine was taking notes.
There were some exciting announcements, and Janine's going to share those.
There were many announcements, and I don't know if I can remember them all. So they started by setting a very positive tone for how Toastmasters is going. You know, we had a very rough time during COVID and memberships dropped a lot. And now we can see the upswing starting, and it's happening here in District 73 and it's happening in other areas too. So that was a positive note for Toastmasters generally. There were specifics that were mentioned. So there are some changes to the Distinguished Club program next year. Clubs will have to do a club success plan in order to qualify for that. So we've taken that on board and we'll incorporate that into our club officer training. There were some shock announcements that don't affect us but did affect the regions in the US. So they were quite concerned. It's like an economy of scale concept that Toastmasters have decided that districts are most financially viable when they have 100 clubs. Here in District 73, we have more than 100 clubs, so we're quite secure. But there are many districts in the US that don't, and they're all going to go through a realignment process. So that really did stir up quite a lot of the people who were present there. And there were other announcements too. I can't remember them all, but one that comes to mind is they talked a lot about DEI, diversity, equity and inclusion. doing a lot of work at head office and with the senior staff, the board and the region advisors. And that will come down, I think, to other levels, including the trio. And I'm really pleased that the education program is addressing this issue this year. So make sure that you pay attention to our schedule and support the next education event, which is about diversity, accentuate the positive, something like that. So join us in embracing diversity in our district and in Toastmasters.
Just need to,
Thank you, Chief.
sorry, there need to have two more announcements in the briefing. I found it very interesting. One is when you go to our Toastmaster portal, you can see Find a Club link. When people are submitting inquiries through the Find a Club portal, they found that more than 60% of such inquiries they never been answered back. More than 60%. So across the world, it's like hundreds and thousands of new inquiries coming into Toastmasters. We are not responding back. So they are introducing the club officer dashboard. So similar to have the district leader dashboard, there's going to be a club officer dashboard. So the club officers can view how many inquiries they are getting. They can respond back. That's one good thing. The second one of the issues that we have is when a new member is coming, we still have this 1970s form. Manually fill out the form. Yeah, so they are coming up with the online system. So that's a good news.
Yeah, they're great. I was shocked too when I heard that only 5% of people who make inquiries through Find a Club ever join Toastmasters. So there's a big number out there, potential members. So that will help, that dashboard where other club officers can go and look at that. And Janine, you saw a sneak preview of the new base camp that's coming.
So it looks good. It's meant to be coming out in October. We will respond with some training, but I don't think it will need a lot of training. It's much more intuitive, easier to use. It actually is a completely different learning management system, but with the same content. So I was really happy with what I saw in that demonstration, and I think you'll like it, and it will make onboarding much easier.
Yeah. And when is it due approximately?
They're saying October.
October is what I
They didn't say which year.
Anyway, fingers crossed it is October. Now, the World Championship of Public Speaking, it took a long time for the results to come back. I thought it was 15 minutes. Someone else thought it was an hour. You reckon it was
60 minutes, exactly.
16?
60.
Oh, 60?
Yeah.
Oh, I must be having so much fun. I didn't realise. So, David, what do you think happened?
I think that there were some queries about attribution, and that took not too long to sort out. However, I think most people now agree that the not one but two disqualifications occurred because of time.
Yep.
And one of the contestants, who I was very impressed with, gave a fantastic speech. There was so much laughter. There was too much laughter, and he hadn't factored that into his speech. And even at the end, when he paused a long time for his punchline, and the crowd kept laughing and laughing, and he was facing that way, and the timing lights were there, and I don't think he realised. Great speech, and didn't know what the clock was doing.
I think they were both 7 minutes 33. Oh my God. Or one might have been 7:32. It's very hard to know at that point because both of them said contest chair, and I don't know whether that was included in the time. I think it was included in the timing, the hand gesture contest chair. So,
What a shame to have got to the final 8 and be disqualified, because the standard in the final 8 is extraordinary.
Yeah, it is. And the other was an attribution. Now, I've heard it from two different sources that the protest was upheld and the protest was dismissed. So I don't know if the girl was disqualified or not. But she did a line out of Queen, We Will Rock You. And she didn't say that that was from Queen. But then, no, she didn't do it once, though. She'd had variations on it. And then it begs the question about, what about if you sing a song in there, do you then have to attribute
Well,
it? I
sure.
suppose the safest way is to do that. Mm. So you don't know whether she was disqualified or not?
I don't.
But-
Only the judges.
yeah, I know that's true.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what gets out there. The judges are not supposed to talk about any of this. All the timers, but everybody before you walked out the door seemed to know that these people were disqualified.
You're in a room full of experts, so
Yeah.
how could you go wrong?
Yeah. And we are on the red light, so I think we will have to continue the discussion. Hopefully it's jogged some questions in your mind that you might like to ask the trio during the break or even later at dinner. So I hope you got an insight into what happened at Anaheim and just how hard working your trio are. So please put your hands together.
We now have a 10-minute break, so comfort stop and also have a look in that back corner, and you might be having a chat to these people as well if there are any little trinkets over there that you would like. So let us meet back at 3:52 in 10 minutes time for the second half of the program. Thank you.